Hi, welcome to this guide about the religious tenets that you can unlock if your religion sort of stays around and gains enough followers so that you get to go through some of these tiers. So I'll first start off with a bit of an overview of what tenets do and how to unlock them, and then we'll go through each of the tiers and discuss which are the best tenets for various situations in a given game. So tenets, you unlock tiers and tenets by having your religion spread over the map and having more and more followers in your religion. So you spread your religion by having a lot of faith, which can be based on sort of the population or the number of territories, as well as building holy sites all over the map to sort of get additional faith. Wonders are also a really good way of building or getting additional faith and spreading your religion further. So then sort of tenets can help quite a lot in the early game, especially with the economy, and then can help you a lot with war throughout the mid to late game, which is kind of accurate when you think about it sort of historically, right? So what we'll do now is we'll go through each of the tiers and discuss each of the tenets and under what circumstances they're worth building and when they're not really worth building. Or picking. Tier 0, which is sort of the one that you get when you unlock, I tend to go for this one, so faith per number of attached territories. If you have a lot of population early on, then this can be good. But just think about a city with 4 territories attached, right? That gets you 20 faith. To be able to match that with shamanism, you'd have to have 20 population, which is reasonable in sort of the medieval, maybe early modern era, but polytheism is much stronger early on, but so you just get faith by attaching more and more districts in your cities. So that's why I tend to go for polytheism. Okay, so then once you get a number of followers and you keep growing population in your empire, then you get to unlock tier 1. You can see the math that they use to unlock this, but I'm not going to calculate or explain this. So it sometimes happens around sort of 25 population if you play with 6 players. So it's around there. This is probably the hardest choice that you make with the religion. And I'd recommend that you either enhance one of your strengths or patch up one of your weaknesses, but through your choice here. The stability on river is really good because this basically gets you a lot of additional stability in your cities, which means that you can build a lot of quarters before the city becomes unstable. So this is a really, really good pick. This is not a very good pick. The influence on mountain is nice, but you have to have lots of mountains that are actually in your territory for this to be worth it. But there are many other ways that you can get influence. This is okay for a war game. You basically get a little bit of extra experience, which gets you a little bit of extra combat strength on your units. Which on the harder difficulties is really important because the AI just gets sort of inbuilt bonuses. So picking this tenet, if you are planning to do a lot of war, can be really, really good. Reject luxury is okay. I tend not to have a lot of luxury deposits, maybe sort of 3 or 4 in any given city. So this is like 20 gold per city, which is nice, but it's not a huge amount of gold. Then this is actually underrated, I think. Respect the sea's bounties. Harvests are really good at picking up food because they not only pick up adjacent tiles food, but all the food within 2 tiles adjacency, right? So this can be really good if you have lots of lakes or lots of coasts available in your cities. You can get harvests that maybe have like 30, 40 food on them, which can grow your cities to quite high population numbers. The abstain from intoxicants is also really good, assuming that you have a lot of forest or woodland available that you're actually exploiting. So this is a very strong pick. It's usually between virtues as water, abstain from intoxicants, and this respect disease bounties that I pick. But it's just the kind of situations that I happen to get into. Hunting infidels is nice to get a little bit extra war support, which can help with like sort of defensively, because the AI is less likely to attack you if you have higher war support than them. And also if you're offensively attacking someone, the starting war support is one of the things that goes into the number of points that you get when you are forcing surrender on your enemy, and you get to sort of pick the oldest spoils from war. So that can help a lot, the hunt infidels. Sick Wisdom is okay against strategic resource deposits. Very hard to exploit these early on in the game, and late in the game the +5 signs is meaningless. You get thousands and thousands and thousands of signs. So yeah, in the first tier, usually I pick between virtues as water, respect to sea bounties, abstain from intoxicants, and the others are kind of situational or marginal depending on what is going on in your particular game. Moving on to the second tier, there's still some good stuff in the second tier. The Bear No False Witness, for example, is very good for if you are building a lot of research quarters, because it's 5 signs on research quarters. Like if you have 10 or 20 research quarters, or even 50 research quarters across your empire, that's like 250 signs, then that gets multiplied with all of the various bonuses, percentage-based bonuses that you get throughout the game. So this is really good. Obsessed Feast is okay. You tend not to have very many harbors. Like you can have at most sort of 5 or 6 harbors in most cities. So it can be nice, but 25 food isn't big. I tend not to build garrisons. Because it's kind of a bit of a waste. Like there are much better ways of getting stability. It can be good defensively, and you can also see there the plus combat strength for combat units in adjacent districts to districts on garrison is again can be really good, but situational defensive, and there are much better ways of dealing with stability as well as defensive. This Give Alms is really good if you are going for market quarters, because you can build lots and lots and lots of these, and the +5 money on market quarter stays good throughout the entire game. So this is really good. This I tend not to pick. Okay, reduces the cost of civics. I never really have that much of a problem with finding civics or being able to pay for civics, and there are only a few civics that have a big impact. So it's much better to just pick the most impactful civics than pick more of less impactful civics. That's why I don't usually take this. And again, this is okay for if you are going to be attacking a lot of enemies. It gets you a little bit extra war support. All right, moving on to tier 3. This is where a lot of the bonuses aren't very good. This is kind of where some of the war bonuses are relatively better compared to all the others, but we'll go through it anyway. This can be nice if you have a lot of trade routes that you are sending all over the place, so mandate patronage, but it's, compared to some of the infrastructure and other bonuses that you can get from this is not that strong. 15 industry on main plaza is not that meaningful at this point in the game when you tend to unlock this. Can be like it's 15 industry per city, right? So it's whatever. At this point, you usually have hundreds and hundreds of industry, so it's a nice little bonus, but not big. Again, this is a nice war bonus for offensive as well as defense. War support generally deters enemy AI players as well. It's one of the things that they take into account to assess your strength, and on that basis they declare war. They don't declare war. This +2 influence on commons quarters is good if you're planning to build lots of commons quarters. There are many ways of getting stability in your cities, but commons quarter is one of the really good ways, and if that's the strategy that you're going for, then proselytize daily can be pretty good. Issue Gluttony is okay for military or offensive because it gets you a bit of extra land movement speed and reduces the industry cost for units. So this can be nice. This developed intellect is kind of similar to Purge Idleness. It's an okay little bonus, but it also assumes that you're having a lot of alliances. And at this point, you probably have a few thousand signs already, so the plus 20 signs is not that good. Okay, tier 4, the final tier. Let me scroll that down a little bit. This is probably where the tenets are the weakest. The 25 money per alliance on Empire is, similar to Develop the Intellect is not very good. I've never found a situation where Sustain the Faithful is particularly good. Stability in territories if territories full of foreign religion. This is very confusing to me when this would ever be good, because this is only really good if you're the recipient of a religion. So I don't know why you would pick this. Maybe to encourage the adoption of your religion, but yeah, I don't know what the thinking for this one is. 50 signs on Culture Wonder is okay, but it's not that impactful, right? Like at this point in the game, you're probably on thousands and thousands and thousands of, almost probably 10,000 research. So another 50 on maybe the 5 Culture Wonders that you've built is a nice little bonus. It's 250 signs per turn, but it's not a huge amount, right? This Meditate Often is probably the best of these, because that extra combat strength is a big deal, because it's very asymmetrical, right? So if you have 2 combat strength more than the enemy unit, makes a huge difference when you fight that unit. So this +2 combat strength is both good offensively as well as defensively, because your defensive units are even better, or your offensive units are even better. So there you go. That's like a discussion of each of the different tenets that are available at every tier of religion. So early on, there are some really good economic boosts, especially at the first and the second tier, and then later on, there are some really good things that help with war, and then also if you're not in a war-focused game, there are some nice things to help you, to give you like these small little bonuses to your economy. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.